This story happened to me when I was studying in an intermediate vocational school. That year, my school had a rule that it was forbidden to go out at night. I was a naughty student, so I snuck out to play games at night by climbing the wall. My purpose was to go to an internet shop to play games. These internet shops were a dozen minutes a walk away from my school, but I could do exercise every night by walking to that shop. The internet shop was usually very crowded at night. My friends and I often ran there to play. Although I loved to game, I didn't play all night. I would only play for about 2 to 3 hours. That time, as usual, I would play until nearly midnight. After playing for a few hours, I would usually find a noodle shop to eat late and then went back to school. Before going there, I would quickly pay for the game and leave. In a position a few seats away from me, a boy was playing a game while dozing off in a chair. The sleepy boy had a bad temper. No one dared to tease or destroy him at times like this. He dozed off, arms stretched behind his back. When I was passing by, I accidentally touched his arm. I immediately apologized, and luckily he didn't wake up. This internet shop was located in a commercial area. The front gate was completely closed, so if I wanted to leave, I had to go through the exit behind. I was walking down the stairs very quietly at the time. Suddenly I saw a man standing right next to the wall opposite the stairs going down. What scared me was that this man had no legs and his body seemed to be floating in the air. I was frightened but also had to leave. When I got too close, he was gone. I quickly assured myself, thinking that I might be a bit dizzy from gaming, so I looked at it wrong. I quickly exited the basement. When I was about to step out of the basement, I came across something strange. A woman was lying on the roof of the hatch with long jet black hair hanging down. She was staring at me, but the woman had no eyes, even though I knew she was looking right at me. If I hadn't leaned against the wall, I would have fallen to the ground long ago. My legs could no longer stand. Fortunately, the woman also disappeared. My first thought was that this basement was haunted. I immediately decided to run out of there. I was just running out the door when a strong light hit me in my face, so bright that I couldn't see anything. Right after the sound of brakes almost burning the car wheel, I realized I was standing in the middle of the road. If the driver hadn't braked in time, I would have died from being hit by a car. Luckily, I was fine and only received a few scoldings. I almost lost my life, standing on the side of the road for a long time because I was so shocked by what I had just witnessed and faced. My only thought at the time was to hurry back to school, not being able to stay outside anymore. I wandered about walking on the sidewalk, thinking about what I had seen in my mind. I was scared and worried. As I was walking like that, I suddenly heard a weak woman singing from behind. It sounded so far away, yet so close. My back seemed to stiffen. I only dared to look to the side to feel. Unexpectedly, behind me, a woman in a white dress was slowly approaching me. I didn't hear any footsteps, only singing. The song was not loud, but the humming was quiet. But when I heard it, I would shiver. I absolutely did not dare to run for fear of her finding out. I could only increase my walking speed, so I strode very long and fast. Although I was quickening my pace, she was able to keep up, even though the distance between us was narrowing. The silence that reached my ears made my heart sink. I was so scared that I couldn't help but cry. I felt like life was too short at the time. My legs also stopped working and I couldn't seem to run away. At the time, I just thought that I didn't study well and would not find a decent job in the future, so I wondered why didn't I just die. At that time, I only thought about death. The thought was so powerful that I fell into silence. Suddenly, a car horn sounded, startling me, and I immediately woke up. The taxi parked on the curb. The driver got out of the car and suddenly asked me loudly why I wanted to die. It was only at that moment that I realized I was standing in the middle of the street again, but just a few minutes ago I thought I was walking on the sidewalk. The driver looked at me and thought I was about to commit suicide, so he approached me. I was scared and started crying out loud. He no longer cursed at me but gently asked me what was wrong and why I was seeking death. He comforted me and then took me back to the school without taking charge. The fact that I was punished for running away from school was inevitable, and after that night I fell ill. I had a constant fever and had to take medicine for the rest of the several days at school. At noon the other day, a classmate came to the dormitory to visit me and tell me about what had happened in the internet shop we frequented. He said the internet shop I went to the night before had a person who suddenly passed away. He told me the news. I was extremely shocked because the dead person was the one I accidentally bumped into when I was leaving. To this day, I still think that the fact I saw ghosts again and again may be because I accidentally touched that person. Because of him, I could see ghosts. My uncle has worked as a taxi driver for more than 5 years. This is also the first time that he had encountered something scary as well as strange. He would usually work until after 11 o'clock, and at that time around 9 p.m. he would still be doing his job. But on the road he passed, there would be a few customers waiting for him. He would quickly pick up a male guest and invite them to the car. At this time, my uncle would also be taking customers to a place called MP Tower located in the inner city. When he entered the city center, the road would be very crowded. He would also quickly drop off the customers in front of the big building. He would then drive to another crowded place nearby. On the side of the road, there were 3 people standing with their hands out to catch a cab. After getting into the car, they told my uncle that they wanted to go to a suburb. The place was more than 110 kilometers from where they were standing, and it would have taken a lot of time to get there and back. My uncle gave them the cost. The 3 of them immediately agreed without making any negotiation. My uncle transported them out of the city and quickly onto the highway. Getting off the highway, he would drive into a deserted country road following the instructions of the 3 young men. The further he drove, the darker the road became. It would be surrounded by luxuriant trees. In my uncle's mind, he felt a bit scared, wondering if these 3 people wanted to trick him into going to a deserted place and commit murder or robbery. It wasn't until the car entered the village that they asked him to stop the car. After paying him, they got out. My uncle immediately drove back to the city. After driving quite a distance, in his mind, he also wanted to catch some more customers on the way to the city because it was convenient and he would have more income then, right? Even though he thought it was wishful thinking, at that moment at the side of the road, a woman was waiting and reaching out to catch the car. The woman was pregnant. He didn't know if it was because she was about to give birth or what was happening, but her expression was extremely contorted. He stopped the car and asked her where she wanted to go. The door opened and the woman awkwardly got into the car but didn't say a word. She only groaned because of the pain in her stomach. When my uncle saw this, he ran to help her get into the car. As this was something that he's never experienced before, he was a little bit confused. He asked the lady if she wanted to go home or go to a hospital. She still did not answer a word. Seeing that the situation might be stressful, he decided to take the woman to the hospital because she was already showing signs of labor. Without hesitation, he drove very quickly because of the hospital location far away. He was afraid that he would not be on time. Sometimes he would look in the rearview mirror to observe the woman's every move. In the back seat, the woman was holding her stomach while groaning. The stomach seemed to be moving as well. Suddenly, something started protruding very sharply out of her belly. It was not like the movement of a fetus, but more like that of a demon wanting to come out. After that, her stomach moved more and more violently. The fetus repeatedly kicked to the belly. The woman cried for help in extreme pain. But when my uncle stared at the woman because he was worried about her, he had already let go of the steering wheel. When he turned his head to look back, he felt a large beam of light hitting his face. At this moment, in front of him was a car from the opposite direction that was rushing towards him at fast speed. Fortunately, he was able to turn the steering wheel in time so he could avoid the car accident. When he stabilized again, he immediately stopped the car and went to find the owner of the other car to talk to. Although the driver on the other side apologized, my uncle was still angry. He told the other driver that he was carrying a pregnant woman. If there was an accident, who would be the responsible one? But after looking at the car, the man on the other side said he had never seen the pregnant woman my uncle talked about. There was no one in the car. My uncle wanted to prove his point, so he led the man back to the car to take a closer look. My uncle pointed at the woman sitting in the back of the car and told the man to look there. What my uncle didn't expect was that the woman had just disappeared. Only a large pile of mucus was left on the car seat. The man thought that my uncle had made a mistake and there was nothing serious, so he left. My uncle couldn't figure out what had happened. He checked the mucus in the back seat. It was not like amniotic fluid during childbirth. It was the kind of mucus that he didn't even know what it would be or what it was, only that it smelled very stinky and foul. He thought to himself that the person he had helped might be a ghost, so he was very scared and did not dare to stay there any longer. When he returned to the city center, he immediately took the car for a wash. Even though it was washed many times, the stench still could not go away. My uncle thought that this car was cursed with bad luck, so he decided to sell it and buy a new one. Finally, there was one thing that he would never forget. The person who bought his car got into a car accident only a week after he sold it. He didn't know if it had anything to do with the ghost he met, but that's what made him never dare to cross that road at night ever again.